Hey, what's going on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thanks so much for hanging out with me as I film this deck tech for you guys on my Machias, aka Mikey, as I like to call him, deck tech. I'm really hyped to show you all this deck. I built this deck, honestly, I'm trying to remember when. Hold up. Did I literally buy the pieces for this in the summer and now it's like November? What? I didn't think I had this deck for that long, but apparently I have. Overall, basically, before I kind of like hop into like the cards, the point of this deck is it kind of has a couple of different strategies in that it can go wide, it can go a couple of creatures that hit real hard, there's some anthem effects, things like that, but it has some token synergy as well. So so like I could have like 2/2 zombies that get buffed to be 3/3s and I might have like 7 of those, so like, or I can kill people with Machias. So honestly, I like that the deck has a couple of different avenues to win, which I think is really cool, and I like that. Power level wise, I'd maybe put this deck on like a scale of like 1 to 10, 10 being like the most powerful EDH deck. Whatever version you think of, I'd maybe put this deck at like a 5.5 or a 6. Some people might be watching this being like, this deck looks like nothing. You know, it just like, it honestly just depends, but I would say in my power level, I'd maybe put this deck around there. It honestly depends. This deck, if it ramps out real hard, can do really nasty things. I posted a picture on Instagram a couple weeks ago of my board state, and it was insane. I ramped out, and I had one of the lands that I'll talk about, and I just had the dumbest things that I was drawing, and I was just dumping everything, and zombies come back because, you know, on point, on theme. So yeah, I like this deck. I honestly don't feel like some decks I like make and then I'm like, I gotta make it more powerful. This deck I feel like is in a really good spot. I feel like I like to pull this deck out when I'm not going for a really high power level, but this deck still does powerful things. I don't really know how to explain it. I feel like power level is something that I've been struggling a lot to like talk about and like think about, so I don't know how to really like frame that, and I think that might be something that I include more in my deck techs if that's something that you guys would be interested in, because some people I feel like might look at this deck and be like, hey, like where does this fall? Like what do you think? So I'm gonna adjust y'all just a little bit. You guys are in an interesting on my Guardians of the Galaxy DVD, which I didn't even know I had, but anyways, so let's get into it. The deck will, as always, be listed in the down bar below on my tapped out. Let's start off talking about the commander Machias, aka Mikey. Such a good card. He is 6 mana for a 5/5 with Intimidate. Let me tell you, the amount of people who I kill with Intimidate, it's a pretty high number, let me tell you. Whenever a human deals damage to you, destroy it. This is relevant. It might not be there are a ton of humans and is the most popular archetype. There are a ton of humans. There is a solid chance that you are going to kill a great many things. I was actually playing a game against Paul and he had Rafik, and he was like literally couldn't kill me because if he swung with his Rafik, he wouldn't get his like second combat phase. It was dumb. His second ability is so good. And then his third ability is other non-human creatures you control, i.e. everything in this deck, get +1/+1, dumb, and have Undying. So he has like an auto anthem effect in him, which is just really good. He's also a zombie, and Undying, so they come back. Like, overall, card is so good. I love Machias. He just totally fits the theme for this deck. You could totally splash blue for zombies, and there's some really good, and you can run like Rooftop Storm. I really like this mono black aspect, and also, I don't have enough monocolored decks. I only have Avacyn and this right now. I don't have any other monocolored decks, and I'm trying to get like one of each color. That's the ideal. Back in the day, I had Yisan. Who remembers that? The first thing we're going to talk about is lands, as always. So, I run 22 basics in this deck, which is actually a lot for me, I would say. I feel like I do run a decent amount of specialty lands in all of my decks because there's so many good ones, but in mono black, and this one land in particular that I have, I feel like balances it out, so it's nice to have a good amount. This one's actually one of my favorite arts. I don't know if it's my actual favorite of all time, and I don't know if I could really pick one, but honestly, I do really love this swamp art a lot. This one is from Jung Park. Ooh, he does some of my favorite stuff, dude. Like, I love Jung Park art. The first, so I run 22 basics and I run 13 specialty lands for a total of 35, and actually 30, well, excuse me, 35 is my sweet spot. I've run 35 lands for as long as I can remember. I think this deck actually needs to cut a land because I feel like I get swamped a lot, lol. I don't really know why that happens. I feel like I draw a lot of cards, and I feel like this happens a lot. So I think I'm going to cut one. I don't really know what I'm going to put in its place, but anyways, Arc of Vraska, I love this card. I love that you can pay 5 to draw a card. If you get the City's Blessing, you're going to have the City's Blessing. Like, that's not an issue. Bojuka Bog, I run in all my black decks. Classic land. That's a pseudo swamp, basically. This is the card that I was talking about. Cabal Stronghold. This is a really interesting card that, in my opinion, you should only be running in a mono black deck. This card does not look that good, and a lot of people do not think this card is good. Honestly, there was this game that I had where I had so many lands, and I was tapping this for a stupid amount of mana. Like, it's not going to be good all the time. Sometimes it's just going to be a colorless land, and that's just going to be the cold hard facts. But if you have a lot of lands, this card's really good. The next is Cradle of the Accursed. Guys, this card makes me so mad, and I just need to replace it with a land. Like, this card is pretty bad, and I want to like this card, but it is not good. For 3 mana, you sack it to create a 2/2 zombie, and you're thinking, okay, there are worse things. It's activate as a sorcery. Why? Why? Can someone please explain why they had to make this as a sorcery? This card is not even that good. There were 0 reasons that they needed to add the effect. If they made, like, if it was, like, 2 mana and tap, I'd be like, okay. But 3 mana, no. This card, I have it in foil, which is maybe one of the only reasons, but no, there's 0 reasons. Yeah, Evolving Wilds, just to get, you know, a little bit of, like, filter through the deck. Ghost Quarter. High Market. You know, I don't actually remember my rationale for running High Market in this deck. Maybe I was just pulling lands and I saw this one. I do like this card. There's nothing wrong with it. There's not, like, a ton of recursion in this deck that makes this card worth it. Maybe just for the little bit of life gain. I honestly don't really know, but I do like High Market. This card is Mortuary. I don't know why I'm having issues saying that word, Mire. Yeah, you put a creature from your graveyard on top of your library. I think this card's good. It's basically an additional swamp. Nykthos. Oh my god, I love Nykthos. It is so good in this deck. I think this card is getting a reprint in Mystery Boosters, which I'm really hyped about. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm making that up. Why do I feel like I saw this card getting a reprint? Maybe I'm totally wrong. I hope it does, though, because it needs a reprint. It's so good. Reliquary Tower. Temple of the False God. I know I get so much flack for this card. Not on YouTube, but my friends give me a lot of flack for it, but whatever. Terramorphic Expanse. And then the last one is Urborg. Of course, it gives Swamp Walk, which is relevant. So, yeah. My Planeswalker suite is kind of hilarious because they're all Lilianas. The first one is Liliana Death's Wielder. This one might be a little bit lesser known. So you put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. She's built-in removal. -3, you can destroy target creature, and then her -10 is return all creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. Pretty straightforward, but I do like her. I don't know if I've really cast her. I feel like there's some cards in this deck that I just haven't cast. This card's real good, and that is Liliana Death's Majesty. I love her so much, and if you're building zombies, you need her. Her uptick is you put a 2/2 zombie, and you mill 2, which is great. And then her -3 is return target zombie card to the battlefield, and it's a black zombie, so it's gonna be a black zombie, and then you can destroy all non-zombie creatures. She's real good. Even if you kill her and even if someone kills her and you don't get this, doing the uptick is still really good to get a zombie and to mill 2 cards. I love it. This is probably one of my all-time favorite cards. When I saw this, I knew that I wanted the timestamp promo, and my friend Robbie gave it to me, which was so generous. Whenever a creature you control dies, you draw a card. That's stupid. I love it. And then you can create a 2/2 zombie. Each player selects 2 creatures. You're probably not doing that. Most of the time, you're probably just going to be making zombies, but that minus could be relevant. And then each opponent chooses a permanent type they control and then sack the red. Like, it's so good. I love it. And, like, her in foil. Oh, yeah. The timestamp, yeah. I'm totally here for that. And the last one is Liliana Untouched by Death. I really like this one for a lot of reasons. I love her ult mainly because you can pop it off right. It's not even an ult really. It's just it's a thing that you can just continuously do. You can cast zombies from your graveyard this turn. Like, You can totally blow people out with this. They kill them, then you cast them again. Like, yeah, overall, I think she's really good. So that's it. Now let's move on to talking about instants. There's only 3, honestly. My removal is really not that wild in this deck, and I feel like that might surprise some people because normally my removal is on point. Guys, I just don't have the room. The first instant I am running is Death Denied. I played with this card a really, really, really long time ago, and I kind of like rediscovered it, and I was like, this card's actually really good. So I decided to put it back in the deck. Haven't gotten the chance to cast it, but I do like it. And then we have Empty the Pits. This is a really dumb mana dump if you just have nothing to do with your mana. This could honestly belong in like other like non-zombie decks too, because then you could just delve a bunch of things and just get a bunch of zombies. They do come into the battlefield tapped, so you can't do this as a defensive tactic, which is the only downside. I feel like this card would not be... I feel like this card is so much mana, I don't think it would be that dumb, honestly. I feel like since it's got the double X up here, I don't think it would be. I don't really know the rationale behind that, but anyways, this is a really good card. Very, very good in late game. And the last instant I have is Succumb to Temptation because I like drawing cards. Cool. Now let's talk about sorceries. So these cards are literally the same thing, so I'm going to talk about them together. We have Ancient Crate Cost. Fun fact, this is one of my least favorite arts. I hate this art. I think this red is one of the ugliest red ever. It looks like a really bad horror movie and they didn't know what the color of blood looked like. Like, I hate it. Anyways, so these cards do the same thing. I like them both. And then we have Army of the Damned, because this is just, like, the most on-flavor zombie card, right? Like, I feel like this just is the epitome of zombie cards. Like, you need it in there. The next card up is Decree of Pain. I really like this card. I like it because it's multi-purpose. You get to destroy stuff and then draw cards, and then if you cycle it, they get -2/-2 on turn, and then you get to draw a card. Like, I don't know. I just think this card's really good. It's kind of a lot of mana, but I just realized I also don't have Ingarrick's Wake in this deck. I don't really know why. Maybe I ran out of all of them. I use them a bunch. My Demonic Tutor, yes, of course, this is my favorite art, the Liliana one. And I have Victimized because I just think this card is so good. Like, oh, I love it. You sack a token and you just get 2 things back for 3 mana. It's so dumb. I love it. And the last one is Zombie Apocalypse. This art, y'all, is fire. I don't know if you quite understand, because I don't think this is a card that a lot of people have seen. I found this when I was looking at zombie cards, and I, like, typed it into, like, TCG Player, which is where I buy, like, all my singles, except for my LGS, and I, like, saw this card, and I was like, why have I never seen this card before? This card's rad. I love it. It's really, really good. You get to return all zombies, creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield, and then you get to destroy all humans. That destroy all humans has been relevant, I'm just saying. So, like, this is, like, technically a board wipe and a recursion in one, and it's only 6 mana. Yep, I'm about it. Sweet. Now let's move into talking about enchantments. I run 6 in the deck. I don't know if I've been going over the numbers with you guys. I'm really sorry if I haven't. I ran 4 Planeswalkers, 3 Instants, and 7 Sorceries, and 6 Enchantments. Sorry, I usually do that, but for some reason I feel like I didn't. Argyl's Bloodfest, this is one of my favorite draw cards. I love it. There's really, I've talked about this card so much. It's honestly just one of my favorite Magic cards. It's so good. Cool, the next card is Endless Ranks of the Dead. This card gets out of hand real quick. And you guys know, I am not the biggest enchantment lover. Like, I normally, that is like the one type that I run the least of in decks. Unless it's like a Leela. Like, I have a Leela that I built, which I'll talk about in my upcoming EDH updates. And honestly, like, I run enchantments because it's like, it makes sense. Like, it's an enchantment and artifact deck. But like, I normally do not run a lot of enchantments, but I love this card. It is so good. You just have a bunch of zombies, then you make more, and then this makes more, which makes more the next turn. Like, this gets out of hand so fast. It's really great. The next enchantment I have is Graph Harvest. This is a card that so many times I'm like, oh my god, do I take this out? But then I'm like, nah, it's so good. 1 mana zombies, you control a menace, like, that's dumb. And then I haven't used the second ability, which is exile a creature from your graveyard to put a 2/2 zombie. I honestly don't really feel like that's the relevant part of the card, but I honestly feel like I couldn't think of many times you'd use that ability. I guess if someone exiled the graveyard and you wanted to react to it, but other than that, you want to bring your cards back. You don't really want to exile them. Unless you're in an instance where you have no recursion, I don't really know. Like, that would be, I guess, the only time, but I do think that card is good. Another enchantment that I like is Open the Graves. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you put a 2/2 zombie. It's pretty straightforward, but your stuff does die, so it's good to have them. Phyrexian Arena, this is one of my favorite draw cards. You lose life, you don't care. And the last one is Zombie Infestation, and my friend Chuck gave me this card, and I haven't played with it because I got it pretty recently and I haven't drawn it, but honestly, I think this card is just really neat and really pretty. So I don't know if this makes sense, but I feel like I really like the way M cards look foil. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why this foiling just looks really stunning on this card. I don't know how to explain it. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Okay. Anyways, now we're going to talk about artifacts. I run 14, which is pretty standard for me. A lot of these are pretty basic. Armor Only Sphere, yep, getting your basics out. Then we have Charcoal Diamond. I really like this card. Commander Sphere, yep. Like, there's really not a whole lot to say for a lot of these artifacts. Icon of Ancestry, I really like this card. You choose zombies, and then they get +1/+1, which is great. And then for 3, you can look at the top 3 cards of your library, reveal a creature, and put the rest on the bottom of your library. I wish this was graveyard, but I get why it's not. Honestly, you run, like, a decent amount of creatures to make this card worth it. There are cards that you might miss out on, but, like, I don't run a ton of removal that I feel like it's okay that I don't. Like, I'm not, like, missing out on those cards that I put back. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Lightning Greaves. Mind Stone. Mind's Eye, I really, really like this card. I've played with this card for a really long time, and it's very good. I actually only own, like, 2, I think. Perilous Vault, I run this card in every single one of my decks. It's my favorite artifact, in case you didn't know. Skull Clamp, this card is so stupid in this deck. I love it. Yeah. Staff of Win. I love this card. Drawing extra cards. Ping stuff. So good. So good. Swiftfoot Boots. Thought Vessel. This card is really good. I don't know how it fares in this deck because honestly, like, having no maximum hand size, like, I don't know. Do I care? I feel like I could discard cards. I don't know. I can draw a lot of cards, and I feel like my hand is pretty valuable. I mean, I get discarding them is not, like, the worst thing in the world. I don't really know. I just do like that card, though. And the last one is Traveler's Amulet. We now get into what I think is the best part of the deck tech, which I always save the best for last, which is the creatures. I run 30 creatures in this deck, but keep in mind, I do have a solid way of getting tokens. Yeah, so let's talk first about Bone Knitter. This is a great card. Let me tell you something. I cast this card the other day and I morphed it, and I tripped up one of my friends. He had no idea what this morph was, and it was pretty hilarious because normally, if you know me, you know that Den Protector is the only morph I ever run. Not anymore, team. It's Bone Knitter. This card is really good. You regenerate target zombie. Also, it doesn't say target you control, so you can technically target someone else's zombie. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Maybe you're playing politics. I don't know. Live your life. But anyways, this card is really good. You can regenerate anything. It doesn't tap, so you can do it as many times as you want. Cemetery Reaper. It's an Anthem effect. You can also use the second ability if you're in desperate times. Someone's exiling your graveyard and you want to react. Card's good. Team, can we talk about the way this card looks? This is Corpse Connoisseur, and I want to show you, if you know things about misprints, can you, like, help me out on this? Look at the text on this card. It's showing up really normal on camera, but it's actually, like, really dark. I want to show you in comparison to, like, a regular card. I don't know why, it's showing up normal on camera, but it looks like it's, like, doubled over. This is, like, the normal text of a card, and this is, like, this. Just look at them in comparison. Okay, it's not showing up on camera. In person, it looks really dark, and it looks like it almost is, like, a misprint. I don't know why it's not showing up on camera, but it's, this card is really good, actually, and I don't think a lot of people, like, know what this card does or don't think this card is good. It's kind of a lot of mana. So for 5 mana, it enters the battlefield, you tutor for a creature, and you put it in your graveyard, which is actually really good. And then you get to unearth it. And, yeah, and then it gets exiled, which, like, you don't really care about. Yeah, card's good. The next one is Death Baron. This card is so good. You give them puzzle +1 and death touch? Like, oh my god. Yep. This is the only non-zombie in the deck, which is Deathbringer Regent, because honestly, I just wanted another board wipe, and this card is not very expensive, so I ran it. Okay, the next card is Diagraph Colossus. This card does not look good. It is amazing. 3 mana for a 2/2. It enters the battlefield with a puzzle + for each zombie card in your graveyard. I will let you know, I've cast this in early stages of the game, and it's still been good. Whenever you cast a zombie, you get a 2/2. Oh my god, this card is one of the best zombies. If you're building zombies, you need it, and I don't think it's very expensive. Cool. Let's talk about Gem Palm Polluter, because this card kills people. You never hardcast this card, ever. You always cycle it for 2 mana, you get to draw a card, and target player loses 1 life for each zombie in play. Yep, you kill people with this card. The next card, I'm going to actually talk about these cards together because they're basically the same thing. I have Ghoul Raiser and Grave Digger. Ghoul Raiser is specifically a zombie, but it is random. So this card's 3 mana and this card is 4 mana. This card is return a zombie at random from your graveyard to your hand, and then Gravedigger is return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. They're essentially the same thing. They're a little bit different. Gravedigger is 1 more mana. Ghoul Raiser is random, and Gravedigger is a... Sorry. Hold up. I'm getting them confused with another card. Wait. Hold on. There's another card that I'm thinking of. Ha ha ha! There's another card that is similar to all these things, and that is Grave Shifter. Grave Shifter is a changeling. ETBs return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. So all of these are in the same realm of doing the same thing, and I like them all. These both are 4 mana. But this one's like 3 mana, so it's 1 less, but it's random, so I don't really know. I like them all, though. They do similar things. Okay, I finally got a Gravecrawler for this deck, which I feel like I really needed because I was like, I just need something all the time that can just come back. That I can always use as a sack outlet, that I can always use as something to like attack with constantly, that I can just play on turn 1. And you always are able to cast it, like, let's be honest. One of the best zombies / black cards in general is Grey Merchant. Yeah. This card kills people. This card, along with Gem Palm Polluter, are, like, I don't want to say you're win, because, like, there's so many win cons in this deck, right? Which is why I like this deck so much, is because it's very versatile in how it wins. It is each opponent, and you also gain life, so your devotion is just gonna be pretty dumb. Since this deck is mono black, you just have all these mana symbols. Okay, it is story time of Jasuves. I am so ashamed at myself because I was playing this card the other day, and I hard cast Jasuves. I did this for a very specific reason, so please don't be mad. But it was the saddest Jasuves of my life. But if you kick this card, it is so dumb. So you pay a total of 4 + 6 is 10. You pay 10 mana for a 4/5 menace. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, you create 8 zombies with menace. If you play this card and you have any type of Anthem effect, i.e. Machias, Icon of Ancestry, Death Baron, any of your type of things, your 2/2/8 2/2s can become 3/3s, which is 8 × 3 is 24 damage. With Jasuves, like, this card just kills people. It's so dumb. I love it. 8 dudes with menace is pretty hard to deal with, just saying. Okay, the next card is Liliana's Reaver. I feel like this is a card that might come out if I get another zombie, because I don't really want to cut creatures. I want to definitely cut, like, I would want to replace this with another creature, but it's a 4/4 death touch. When it deals combat damage, they discard a card and you get a 2/2. Like, it's okay. I just feel like there's better things. This is definitely on the chopping block of cards to come out. The next card is Lord of the Accursed. This is a great card. It is an Anthem effect, and then for 2, they gain Menace. There's the other card that gains Menace, the other enchantment, which is good, and then the tokens from Jasuves also have Menace, which is so good, so, yep. The next card is Lord of the Undead. Again, Anthem effect, and then for 2 and tap, you can return target zombie card from your graveyard to your hand, which is good. It is a tap ability, but honestly, I don't mind, because I feel like I don't typically attack with my Anthem-y dudes. Like, if they have blockers or anything like that, I don't typically. I like to keep them back because they're a little bit more precious. Then I'll send, like Josu Vest. I would send those tokens in an instant, even if they had blockers for the Menace, like, whatever. But, like, these are a little bit more precious, so I would definitely hold that back, and then you get to get a zombie back, which is good. Then I have Midnight Reaper. I know a bunch of people are running this card even without the zombie decks. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, it deals 1 damage to you when you draw a card. This can hurt you, but I just want to note that it is non-token, which is good because this deck can produce tokens, but the tokens don't hurt. So I do like this card. Cool. Okay. This card is stupid. Noxious School. A lot of people I don't think know what this card does because it's from, I don't know what this set is from. Can anyone help me out? What is this set from? Legends maybe? No, that doesn't sound right. I have no idea. Whenever this or another zombie comes into play, all non-zombies get -1/-1 till end of turn. This card is really stupid. It is a pseudo board wipe on a creature, which is amazing. And basically everything you run is a zombie except for Deathbringer Regent. So you literally just blow up everyone's board but your own, which is so good. People do not know what that card does, and they do not kill it, and it is hilarious when it kills people. Or when it kills their creatures. Phyrexian Delver. I feel like this is a card that I've just never drawn. So I honestly don't know how to, like, explain that. Like, I don't know how to talk about this card and say if it's good or not. But I feel like it's good. You get something back, and you lose life, but you don't really care. Okay, Plague Belcher. Yeah, this card's great. It's 3 mana for a 5/4 with Menace. You put 2 -1/-1 counters on a creature you control, you do not care. You kill a token, or you just put it on whatever your other creatures, and you literally don't care. You kill something, you have Machias, it comes back, Undying, hello, great day. And whenever another zombie you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, which is amazing. So this card can kill people. Again, so many cards can kill people. The next card is Rot Hulk. People do not know what this card does. It's amazing. It is a 5/5 with Menace. There's so much Menace in this deck. I love it. I didn't even realize until I was filming this. When it enters the battlefield, return up to X target zombie cards from your graveyard to the battlefield where X is the number of opponents you have. Do people get how good this card is? It is so stupid. You play this card, you bring a bunch of stuff back. It is just so good. I love this card. Of course, if we're playing zombies, we have to have Sidisi Undead Visor. She was one of the contenders for the what's it called? For the commander, but I decided to run Machias instead, but I still, of course, put Sidisi in there because she's a tutor, and she's got Exploit, and she has Death Touch. Stitcher Supplier is kind of a placeholder right now. It's a fine card, but it's just not something I think I, like, need to run in this deck. I don't think I need the milling. This is just gonna come out. I need something else to replace that's honestly cheap mana-wise. I have Undead Augur. This says whenever this or another zombie you control dies, you draw a card and you lose life. This is similar to Midnight Reaper, but it is, what's it called? It does include tokens, so this is something you might have to be careful of, but I do think that card is good. We have Undead Warchief, so zombies cost 1 less, which is really good, and zombies get +2/+1. It does include itself, so it is a basic 3/2. I wish they just made it a 3/2, and then, like, said all other, but I guess this is in a time where they, like, you know, they were printing cards and, like, you know, they print cards differently. Okay. Then we have Vengeful Dead. Whenever this or a zombie is put into graveyard from play, each opponent loses 1 life. Yep, pretty straightforward. This card kills people. We have Vizier of the Scorpion. This card does not look like that it's that good. And into the battlefield, you amass. You aren't gonna have an army. This is the only thing that makes it, so you just get a 0/0. And then you put a puzzle counter on. I don't know how that works. Please let me know. And then zombies have Death Touch. So yeah, again, there's a lot of tokens. Now they have Death Touch, and most likely Menace. One of the best zombies, which is Zombie Master. All zombies gain Swamp, regenerate this creature, and they also gain Swamp Walk. Like, I mean, yes, this is why you run Urborg. The last zombie actually synergizes really well with Zombie Master, and that is Zombie Trailblazer. Whenever you tap an untapped zombie you control to have target land become a swamp, and then tap an untapped zombie you control and target creature gets swamp until end of turn. So, like, why this is good with this is because with this, it gives them Swamp Block, and this can turn them into a swamp, which is really good. So you can tap an untapped zombie you control. So you can literally tap this if it enters the battlefield, and then swing with your team. So good. Oh, I'm so sorry. There was one more creature that got kicked off. I don't know, we missed this creature for some reason. I definitely didn't talk about this, because I would have remembered. Corpse Harvester is, for 2 mana, you sack a creature to tutor for a zombie and a swamp. Reveal them and put them in your hand. This is such a good effect. You sack something, but you do not care. Like, it is not a downside. So for 2 mana, you get to, which could be a good thing, by the way, because then you can just recur it later. You can get Mikaeus' trigger off, like, whatever. And then you sack that to get a zombie and a swamp. Like, this card is so good. Sorry, I don't know how that got lost in the shuffle. I do things in alphabetical order, but that got lost somehow, so that is it, team. That is it for this Mikaeus deck. I feel like as I was going through this deck feels like it's very synergistic. It kill. There's like 10 different win cons, right? And I don't just mean like I could kill someone with the 2/2, or I could kill someone with the 3/3. I mean, like, you can kill someone with tokens. You can kill someone with Mikaeus. You can kill someone with your avenues of like Gem Polluter. You can kill people with like, you know, like your. Did I say tokens already? I don't know. There's just so many ways of killing people, like, of just doing damage to people. Like, I don't know. I just really like this deck. I hope that this deck tech was helpful to you guys if you do decide to build zombies, or if you just like deck techs, because they're really popular on my channel. They're, like, the most popular videos. So, that is it for this video, and I will see you guys in my next. Bye.